now, and it's not about MS anymore. It's about just working out in this community and being a part of the community. And you can go there, you come to MS Forward and everybody gets it. You can talk to everybody about it. But that's, I think, my spin, if you will, on my disease has changed to a more positive thing, just because I've been able to be a part of MS Forward Gym. And it's not just a gym, I just can't say it enough, it's a community. It's really a community.
It's murder, go crazy, berserker.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ISM Raceway just outside of Phoenix, Arizona for tonight's SimPossible B-Car Series race. And Cameron, this is race 4 of the season, and these drivers in for the long haul, but ISM, this track has its own unique challenges, one of which being the dogleg on the backstretch. The track kind of races like a short track just over 1 mile in length, and we'll definitely put on a show here tonight. I'm Peter Short, and joining me in the booth here is Cameron Rich, and as always, Carlos Acosta commanding the cameras around this 1.022 mile racetrack. And Cameron, like I was saying, this track kind of races like a short track. Should be a lot of action tonight.
Yeah, just over a mile long. You see here's Doug Palm on the screen running that dogleg line, running right next to that inside wall on the backstretch. Of course, this track reconfigured in 2012. It used to be flatter and not have all that asphalt right there, but now it is there, and they're going to be using it, so that's a good passing opportunity right off turn 2. We'll see drivers running all the way over the track tonight. And one thing we've heard from the drivers is that tires are a concern tonight. It looks like tire wear will be one of the main issues. Definitely something to look forward to, because we have seen in the past that if you can't keep those tires on you, your chance to win is quite hurt a little bit.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this race is a fairly long race. You know, they're basically running just a little bit shorter distance than the actual NASCAR second tier division series. And tonight's race will be 133 laps, just over 133 miles around this one. And there you see the number 80, Kevin Cochran, taking time. There's the number 4, Nate Catilla, getting the win at Las Vegas with a fantastic run, getting his first career SimPossible Series W just 1 week ago. And I'm sure we'll expect to see that number 4 up near the front here once again tonight. And Cameron, this track definitely proving to be a little bit tricky in practice. Already seeing a couple cars hit the wall, but I know that this is only practice. You know, they'll get things sorted out before the race. So I'm sure these drivers will have an exciting 133 laps in just a little bit, about 2.5 minutes left in practice. And let's take you through the practice order so far. Up at the top, we have Dominic Lee in the number 2 Toyota. Dominic Lee, he's pretty new to the SimPossible Racing League, but he's shown a lot of speed, Cameron, and it just doesn't seem like he's been able to quite get things done. What do you think about his chances tonight?
Well, obviously he's right at the top of the board right now, so like you said, he's had a lot of speed, just has not been able to put the races together. Usually kind of fades at the end or gets involved in something, but you know, he's definitely going to want to get out there and get that first win. You know it's coming. With somebody as fast as he is, it's going to come sooner or later. But Peter, one thing I'm seeing about this track tonight, you said that the track can be a little bit treacherous. Off turn number 4 there, which is actually turn number 2 now in real world, but it's still turn number 4 for us. See a lot of cars getting loose, so we'll have to see if that can be the calamity corner tonight.
Yeah, definitely. As we see Dominic Lee working through turns number 3 and 4 right now. Tanner Sharp is just behind Dominic on the leaderboard. He's about 7/100ths of a second off. Doug McCollum sits 3rd. Kyle Zimmer 4th. Dave Wilson currently sits 5th on track, and then it's about almost 0.2 of a second back to Travis Zudema. Tim Masters behind him. Chris Roberge, Kevin Cochran, Tom Johnson rounding out your top 10. Billy Wise, Brian Lowhead, Nate Catilla, Mark Dingman, Alan Capers, Fernando Matos, and Johnny Berardi round out your practice field, as we have just about a minute left, and it's just enough time for us to talk about those point standings to all of y'all, because up at the top we have Dave Wilson, 1 win in 3 races, and he's going to be driving that number 20 Cadbury Dairy Milk Toyota here tonight. Kyle Zimmer sitting second in points, just 9 points off the lead. AJ Digby sits third. And as you look through that practice sticker out there, you will not see the name of AJ Digby. Not quite sure if Digby will be able to make the show or not here tonight. And he's only got about half a minute left to get here. Sitting fourth is Nate Catilla, getting that win last week at Las Vegas. Fifth sits Kevin Cochran. Sixth, Tanner Sharp, and I know he'll be looking for a good race here tonight, trying to bounce back after a tough one last week at Vegas. Christopher Burge, he had another tough race at Vegas. He is currently sitting 7th in points. And Dominic Lee 8th, tied with Tim Masters. And Alan Capers and Brian Lowhead are both tied for 10th position. So that rounds out your top 10 in the point standings, Cameron. And we're about to go over to the qualifying session. How important is qualifying here at Phoenix?
You definitely want to start as far forward as possible, but really there's a lot of room at this track, so it's not super terribly hard to pass. One thing I want to look forward or look out for more aptly is what kind of line these drivers run in turn number 3 or turns 3 and 4, because I see a lot of drivers running below the yellow line in the racetrack. Of course, this is not Daytona or Talladega, so you can run wherever you want as long as you're within the boundaries of the walls. But what is it? Single car qualifying? It looks like it might be. So single car qualifying for tonight.
Indeed it is, and we're watching the number 9 at Masters. He's actually the first car out on track. He's going to hit the striker and dive off into turn number 1. Now, these guys are getting pretty fast down the straightaways, about 160 miles an hour when they sail off into turn number 1. Here he goes down the back stretch. You see him dive down onto the dog leg as he now jumps back up and going through turns number 3 and 4, running a little bit higher line on entry, a late apex to try and get as much drive up off the corner as possible. Tim was sitting about in the 7th position in practice, and he pretty much backs up his practice lap time here in qualifying with a 27.080. Dave Wilson currently sitting top of the board in the number 20 machine as those times continue to trickle on in. Looks like Nate Catilla trying to back up that great run at Vegas last week, currently sitting 2nd on the board. And Cameron, it can be pretty easy to screw up a lap here if you tap the wall or something, because iRacing will disqualify your lap time, so we'll have to keep an eye on Tanner Sharp.
Look at that lap that Kyle Zimmer put down, a 26.508. He is over 3.5 tenths quicker than anyone else right now. That is absolutely flying. Go back and watch and see if he ran on the very inside of the track or on the pit garage or something, because that is something else. That is a really good lap for him.
Now you see Dominic Lee's going to try and replicate what Kyle Zimmer just did, but I'm watching Kyle Zimmer's lap, and it looks like he nailed the entire lap, just absolutely everywhere. He just nailed it, cut the dog leg nice and neatly. Ooh, look. Dominic Lee there, he's actually didn't get the drive up out of turn number 4 that he was hoping for. He's going to actually come down back to pit road and restart his qualifying run. So Dominic Lee going to have to take a mulligan there as he now hits the backstretch. And yeah, Cameron, you mentioned it earlier that Kyle Zimmer, he actually ran below the yellow line on turns number 3 and 4. He kind of straddled it with the left front. Ooh, Dominic Lee got really close to the wall. I think he's going to do the same thing again. He got that Toyota woed up, and he's going to take yet another mulligan to try and see if he can get this lap in. I think Dominic is really trying to go for Kyle's lap. I'm not quite sure he's going to have it in him, because Dominic ran a 26.637. He'd have to pick it up about a 10th and a half to snatch that pole away from that awesome lap that Kyle Zimmer laid down.
Yeah, if we could go on board with him real quick. We just want to see how he runs this track. This is a very interesting track to drive. You really need to cut it in early here in 1 and 2. Kind of let it flow way out to the outside wall out of 2, and cut it down here real quick into 3, and then it's kind of a late apex into Actually, this is 3. It was 2 last time, but yeah, this is 3 and 4. And we see him straddling that yellow line right there, trying to get as much down, cutting that track as short as possible. But he does put down a 26.635, about a 1/10.5 off Kyle Zimmer's lap. So not a bad lap, but he certainly was not going to. I don't think anybody could put down a lap like Kyle Zimmer did. But I don't think Dominic should be too upset about that lap, because second place is a good starting spot here regardless.
Absolutely, as you see the number 17 Fernando Matos out there on track turning some laps. He's already got his 2 qualifying laps in. Just trying to get some extra practice out there on the racetrack. You see him go through turns number 3 and 4, and this is actually his 3rd lap. He did pick it up on lap number 2, which was somewhat surprising. We haven't seen that out of too many drivers, but looks like he's going to now slow it up, as we only have about 23 seconds left. Looks like we do have a group of drivers who will not be making a qualifying lap time. Those including Kevin Cochran, Doug McCollum, Travis Zudema, Alan Capers, Brian Lowhead, and Billy Wise. So that's like 6 cars or so that are not set to take a time here in this closed qualifying session, as we have now advanced over to the race. So Cameron, definitely Kyle Zimmer, what a lap.
Yeah, that's a huge lap. So definitely starting the weekend off on the right foot. About a 1/10.5 clear of anyone else. So see if he can translate that into race pace.
It's definitely going to be interesting to watch this track transition as the sun does set. It's currently a track temperature of 78 degrees Fahrenheit, and the ambient temperature is 75 degrees. And so there's no clouds in the sky. It's perfectly clear, so don't expect to see any clouds come over the track here tonight. So we'll take you through your starting order here. There he is, your home man, number 25, Hunt Brothers Pizza Chevrolet, driven by Kyle Zimmer, and to his outside is the number 2 of Dominic Lee.
Row number 2, we have the 48 car of Mark Dingman, picked up 4/10 from his practice lap, so a good pickup there. And to his outside, points leader Dave Wilson in the 20 car.
On row number 3, it is number 3 of Tanner Sharp, looking to bounce back from that tough race at Vegas, and starting to his outside, the winner from that race, Nate Catilla.
Starting 7th, we have the 9 car of Masters and 98 of Christopher Burge to his outside.
On row number 5, the number 56 of Tom Johnson, and the number 17 of Fernando Matos.
Starting 11th, we have the 99 of Johnny Berardi, and to his outside, the first car not to take time, Kevin Cochran in the 80 car.
On row number 7, we have the number 90 of Travis Zudema, and the 32 of Billy Wise.
Doug McCollum will roll off in the 15th spot. Alan Caper is going to roll off 16th. Rounding out your field tonight, we have Brian Lowhead in the 66, the perennial non-qualifier, but definitely he will make his way forward throughout tonight's event. And I'm excited, Peter. This should be a good race. I personally love this track. I'm not very good at it, but it's always fun to watch races here, and it's a real driver's track.
Yeah, I absolutely love this track. I really, really love Phoenix. Phoenix is one of those tracks where patience is key, but also key is finding the grip level. It seems like this track, more so than others, you have to find the grip because it isn't always in the same spot on the track from week to week here. You know, you go to some Phoenix races and there's no grip below the yellow line, and some races there are. Well, pace car has now turned in, so these drivers will have to start finding that grip here pretty quickly because the green flag is out in the air. Kyle Zimmer hard on the gas. Who's outside? We have Dominic Lee in that number 2. They're going to dive off into turn number 1. Great drive off into turn number 1 by the 25 of Zimmer. Look at the Dingman looking underneath the 2 just briefly as, oh, the rest in peace cone. You see the cone bouncing around. There's Dave Wilson. He's not going to go down below that yellow line. In fact, Dave Wilson's going to jump up into the 3rd position here, as I think Dingman had to check up just a little bit. So, oh, look at Dave Wilson. He had to check. Oh, contact coming out of the corner. You see a little bit of nose damage on that number 20.
Ooh, 48 loose.
Oh, the number
Saved
48's. What a save. Oh, the 9's around. The 9 of Tim Masters, a little bit of help from Nate Catilla, and oh, someone got a hard hit there. Who was that? That was Alan Capers in the number 13. Came in there a little bit late. We're already under the caution flag here, but that seemed like it happened when the 48 got a little bit loose. Everyone else seemed like they started checking up, and it seemed like it was an accordion effect. Yeah,
definitely. You saw the 48 get loose there. It looks like, yeah, he just snapped the rear end like brake bias or something, and you saw as Chris Roberge there got in the back of the 9, and he got hit by the 4. That's Nate Catilla, and you know, once that happens, there's just not much you can do. And see that was Alan Capers there, nowhere to go. So I think he actually ended up hitting the 99 of Berardi after that. So it was quite a bit of cars involved for that one mistake by the 48.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Roberge, you know, he might not have noticed that the cars in front were checking up and got into the back of Tim Masters, sent that number 9 Chevrolet around spinning, and that contact by Alan Capers sent Capers up into the track, and actually he got into the side of Johnny Berardi, so not what Berardi wanted to see, and already we had just about a lap on their tires, and we already got drivers on pit road, including Tanner Sharp. He's going to lead the drivers on pit road. Then Chris Roberge, he got some front end damage after getting into the back of the number 48. Nate Catilla on pit road in the 4, Tom Johnson in the 56, Travis Zudema in the number 90, Brian Lowhead in the 66, and Johnny Berardi in the number 99, as well as Doug McCollum in the 33. So a couple of drivers down there. Tim Masters, he's going to get his damage repaired in the number 9 machine. But meanwhile, up at the front, Kyle Zimmer stays out.
And of course, all these drivers have 4 fast repairs, so they're going to get their cars fixed up and out after that accident.
Yeah, I know there's drivers that, you know, they'll get their damage repaired and they'll be back in it. Definitely, you know, at this point in the race, it's going to be all about patience, trying to log those laps. It is a long race. 133 laps around this place is not a short race by any means. And so I'm sure these drivers will probably take that into consideration after this first yellow flag. And, you know, just keep that in mind. Nate Catilla was one of the drivers who got some damage on that restart in the number 4 machine. You don't see him on your screen here yet because he stayed on pit road to actually get some damage repaired. So he elected not to use a fast repair at this stage of the race. And Cameron, we've seen that be kind of a good strategy call in some races, some of the races that we've had a lot of cautions, just because you save them and you use them only when you really need them. And we've seen some drivers run out.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it's never optimal to have to take one on the first lap of the race, or even the first, I want to say, quarter of the race. If you can save them, it's always nice to have them kind of stacked up for the end of the race. But you know, it's better to have them. It's better to use them if you need to than not. But pace car is off, and Kyle Zimmer is in control of the field again. We'll see if Dominic Lee can get another good restart on that outside line like he got in the first time. Green flag is out, and these drivers hard on the gas. Both Zimmer and Lee get a good restart. We'll see what happens into turn number 1 here. See if Dominic can drive it in. No, he just he pulls in right behind that 25 car. We're single file for the first 3 spots. Well, we got 3 wide behind them. That's Tanner Sharp getting a good run. And here's Dave Wilson going all the way down to the inside wall. You couldn't fit a piece of paper in between that car and the wall. Kyle Zimmer goes extremely high in turns 3 and 4. I don't know if he hit the wall or not, but look at this run he's going to get. Wow, that might have been a key to his fast lap in qualifying. Maybe he's found something.
Well, he dives it off into turn number 3 wide for the race lead. Look at this. Here comes Dave Wilson in the number 20 all the way down to the inside wall, and he is going to take the lead away from Zimmer and Lee. Going off into 3 and 4, he got quite a run there through the center of the corner and was able to hold it. Oh man, he cuts right in front of the number 25. The 25 of Zimmer has to check up just a little bit on entry into the corner. But look at Dominic Lee. He's sniffing that second spot. Just to keep you updated a little bit further back in the pack, the 32 of Billy Wise had some contact actually with the inside wall in 3 and 4. A little bit of contact sent him sideways while they were battling for the race lead. Seems like everything has sorted out. Okay, oh, Dominic Lee hard in the wall, and Dominic Lee, oh, he's in the inside wall. Hard hit, and the 48 of Mark Dingman also gets involved, and that number 2 spins like a top all the way down the front straightaway. Finally able to get it going straight. Looks like both the number 48 and the 2 are both smoking. We'll watch this replay. That contact with the wall was sent.
Oh, they're still wrecking under caution.
Oh, man. Yeah, looks like Dominic Lee got spun around again here under caution as we watch this replay. Let's just watch this. He's really low on the racetrack. He's all the way down there, has all 4 tires below that yellow line, trying to find some grip down there. And I kind of said that's a key, you know, you got to find where that grip is. And man, a really, really hard hit. Not quite sure who that was that cleaned him out. I think it was Kevin Cochran, and Kevin Cochran just kind of ghosted right through him in the number 80 machine, luckily enough. But I know Dominic Lee and Mark Dingman will both have to come down as, ooh, yep, there's the contact there with Johnny Berardi. I don't think Dominic was expecting the 99 to come down quite like that, but I'm sure he'll be able to limp that number 2 machine back to pit road and get that fast repair on that machine. Not quite sure if he'll go a lap down here or not. Pace car just now rolling down the front stretch, but we got leaders on pit road, Cameron.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what these drivers will do, because we really don't have that many laps on the tires, but I have to assume they will all take 4, especially if you're up near the front. Maybe we'll see some in the back take 2. I think we might see some stay out as well. We actually do. I don't, but they're probably just might be just staying out to lead laps or whatnot. It's like everybody gets in their pit stall pretty well. Actually, the 25 almost missed it. He's right on the front edge of the box, but he got in pretty well. Oh, Tanner Sharp with some strategy there.
Yeah, Tanner Sharp.
He took 2 tires.
Yeah, he definitely took 2 tires. 8.8 second stop for that number 3 machine, or 8.5, excuse me. Yeah, definitely Tanner Sharp, a little bit of strategy there to get himself up to the front in that number 3 Nationwide Chevrolet. Got a little bit of damage on that number 3 machine. As does Dave Wilson in the number 20. The 25 of Kyle Zimmer's nice and clean. And right behind him now is Tim Masters. Good recovery by Tim Masters. We saw him with a whole heap of damage early in this one. And we're only 12 laps in, Cameron, but Tim Masters has found his way back up into the top 10 and really the top 6 or so. So got to keep an eye out for that number 9 of Tim Masters as this race goes on. But pace car lights are off. Quickie yellows here at this track. Everyone on the lead lap at this present moment in time. So that cuts down on the caution time as Dominic Lee is trying to hustle his way around. Actually, I say that Dominic Lee actually did succumb to the pace car and is now 1 lap down. So looks like he couldn't quite get off pit road in time. So move the number 2 car to being 1 lap down. But like I said, he's the only one 1 lap down. So if we get another caution, he would presumably be the lucky dog, barring any further incident. But
and the top race, 3 cars did stay out.
Yeah, the top 3, Chris Roberge, Travis Zudema, Johnny Berardi, and then you have Tanner Sharp on 2 tires, Dave Wilson, the first car on 4 fresh tires, sitting back there in 5th. It's your 3rd car on the inside line, green flag back in the air here. Chris Roberge will be hard on the loud pedal. He's got the 90 of Zudema to his outside, but here comes Tanner Sharp, busting his way up into the 3rd position. They're now side by side for 2nd. Oh man, Dave Wilson definitely loose. He's down all the way down near the inside wall, but look at Tanner Sharp. Tanner Sharp dives it off into turn number 3, a little bit too hard. Gonna scuff up. We have a caution. He scuffed up the right side of that car. Again. Oh, and Brian Lowhead, Tim Masters, Lowhead definitely in the wall hard.
Doug McCollum's in it.
Oh yeah, Doug McCollum's in the outside wall. Let's see if we can get a replay here. As they dove off into the corner. Ooh, not quite sure if there was a little bit of contact there with Dingman in the 48. The 9 car got loose, and oh, he clipped McCollum. And unfortunately for Doug McCollum, McCollum is stuck in the outside wall after that contact. We'll try and see if there's any contact here on entry into the corner. Oh, there might have been some neck coat there. I don't think there was any actual contact between those 2 cars. But Doug McCollum, oof, just stuck right into that safer barrier.
Yeah, nothing he could do there because he got hit in the left rear when he was trying to avoid and just shot the car right. We actually saw that last Monday on the Truck Series broadcast. AJ Digby stuck in the wall at Las Vegas. So I don't know. These out west tracks have some sticky walls or something in them.
Brian Lowhead in the number 66 machine, that car was badly crabbing. He was able to crab it back to pit road, but he actually got into it as well. In fact, there was really 3 accidents that happened at the exact same moment there, because Tom Johnson and Dominic Lee made contact. So Dominic Lee will actually not be your lucky dog here, and Brian Lowhead got some contact by Nate Catilla. So, man, in a matter of one corner, there was just about 3 accidents that happened at the exact same time. There you see Lowhead. He's used the fast repair, and he's leaving his pit box. I think he only had one option to use the fast repair, because that car was actually leaving tire tracks as he was crabbing around the track. It was that badly damaged. But for number 98 there, Christopher Burge, he's going to stay out once again here on those older tires. Remember, he did not pit under that last pit stop. But definitely Burge playing the track position game. I don't think that's too bad of an idea there, Cameron. What do you think?
Well, he's going to get the bonus point for leading laps, obviously, and you know, we've seen him play some goofy strategies all season long, especially over on the truck side. So you know, if you're going to do it at this point in the race, and if it doesn't work, it really won't hurt you as bad as it will later on. So I like it.
Yeah, I tend to agree. You know, you have to figure out what you can and can't do at this moment in time. It's early in the race, so yeah, you know, I'm looking at it now. He has about 7 laps older tires than the cars around him, but in reality, a lot of those laps are also under caution. So he doesn't have that many extra green flag laps on his tires compared to the number 25, Kyle Zimmer, which is right behind him. Of course, Zimmer on 4 fresh tires. The number 3 of Tanner Sharp did come down pit road and get tires, so that is one thing to know. I wonder if Tanner Sharp thought that the 2-tire idea was not the best one. Not quite sure. He did have some damage, I did notice, and he did get into the outside wall in turns number 3 and 4 there in that 1 green flag lap, so maybe he was just coming down to get that damage repaired. Not quite sure, but pace car lights are off. Should be interesting. Hopefully these drivers can get some green flag racing in. I'm sure that's what they're all thinking. Definitely seems like these drivers have some pretty high intensity early on, some really tight and close hard racing.
Yeah, and I just saw what you kind of brought up earlier. That damage on the front of the 98, I think, if anything, that's going to be what hinders him a little bit, because that is a lot of damage, really. I'm honestly not sure where it came from, what accident he was in. Actually, I think it was the... Yeah, I do, but either way, we'll see how it affects him. Pace car is off, and we'll see if he can get going here. The green flag is being displayed now. Drivers are out. Looks like he gets a big good restart. The whole field does. And we're going to be side by side in turn 1. That is Kyle Zimmer on the outside. No, he does not. There's really not much grip on that outside there, Peter. But actually, never mind. He's going to prove me wrong right here and shoot out to the lead. It's a great run off turn number 2. Let's see if he can hold it into turn number 3. I think he will, because he had... Ooh, that's contact between the... Ooh, 98 just sailed it off in the corner and...
Oh, here we go. They're all piling in.
Yeah, that
98
was...
upside down. Oh, man, it was a...
I'm not sure what happened there.
It was a parking lot in turns number 3 and 4. Looks like everyone's going to drive away from it, but the 98 of Christopher Burge was upside down for a moment. Let's see if we can watch this replay. We'll watch the whole lap here. Great. There was side-by-side through turns number 1 and 2, and like you said,
it's a massive accident. Wow.
The 25 of Zimmer got a great restart. There's the number 15, or excuse me, number 13 of Capers, and yeah, the number 98 just dived in there. He bounced off the wall. Zimmer had nowhere to go, and they were completely sideways, and Matos there had nowhere to go. A little bit of beating and banging a little bit further back in the pack. But man, that number 98 machine got rocked.
I'm not sure what happened there, Pierre. It almost looks like the 98 has some sort of hardware failure, because that car never slowed down on intro 3. So I can't imagine he just missed the corner that bad, because, you know, Chris is not a driver that would make that kind of mistake, I don't think. So we'll have to see if something happened there. Actually, if I'm correct, was he not having problems with his wheel just a few days ago?
He was, and at Las Vegas, he actually did start the race in the MS Ford Truck Series just on Monday night. So I'm wondering if he's being plagued by a similar issue here tonight. But regardless, all drivers were able to make it back to pit road. Tanner Sharp looks like he'll be the first one off pit road. Dave Wilson did stay out, but all the drivers receiving damage here are going to get some of that damage fixed. I just can't believe that number 98 went upside down. Ooh, Nate Catilla and the 66 of Lowhead. A little bit of argy-bargy after they were past the number 98. There goes the number 9 of Tim Masters off pit road. Number 4, Nate Catilla. I think he's being kind of smart here. He's saving his fast repairs. We've highlighted it earlier. We're on lap number 20. A couple of these drivers are already going through a few of their fast repairs at this present moment. And Catilla, I think he just keeps coming down and gets that damage fixed as much as he can to head back out there. I think that's a pretty smart strategy, as Dominic Lee has gotten one of his, or has gotten back on the lead lap in the number 2 machine. Chris Roberge currently sits 1 lap down. Doug McCollum, who unfortunately had to take a tow when his number 33 Chevrolet got stuck in the outside wall. There he is. He's currently sitting 2 laps down. That's just bad luck for Doug to get stuck in the wall, but I'm sure he'll be able to make those laps up as this race continues. And there's the 98 of Roberge still sitting on pit road. I wonder, Cameron, if the same thing happened to Roberge that happened to Tanner Sharp last week, because that number 98 doesn't seem to have used that fast repair yet, and I think he came to pit road under his own power, so that could be a very, very lengthy repair for Chris Roberge. Oh, he did have to take it up, so we'll keep an eye on that, but he did have to take a tow. His engine did expire before he got back to pit road, and I can now report that he has used a fast repair. So he'll go 2 laps down, however, 2 or 3 laps down, unfortunately, due to that accident. But pace car lights are off, and Dave Wilson still out front of this one.
Yeah, that wreck really shook up the field, because we have Alan Capers up to 2nd, Mark Dingman in 3rd, Billy Wise 4th, and Travis Zudema rounded out your top 5 for this restart. So really haven't seen much green flag racing yet. I'm sure these drivers want to get these cars strung out and just get some racing in. So we'll see if we can get that here. But pace car is going to pull off here, and field will be in the hands of Dave Wilson. He's quite a bit ahead of the 48. I would probably want to pull up if I were him. But anyway, green flag is out. That's Alan Capers. Gets a really good restart. He actually pulls about a car length ahead of Dave Wilson here into turn number 1. We'll see if he can hold that outside line. It is really tough to do it out there, and no, he does not. Dave Wilson uses that dog leg to his advantage and pulls a few car lengths ahead of Capers into turn number 3. So actually keep him in the lead. We have some cars really high in the track right there in turns 3 and 4 there. That's Billy Wise, it looks like. He's going to lose a few spots, so racing all over the track right now. Somebody's coming to pit road.
Yeah, not quite sure who it is coming to pit road.
Oh, it's Dominic Lee.
It's the 2 of Dominic Lee, yeah. Not quite sure why Lee is on pit road. We'll have to see what's going on here. But up at the front, Dave Wilson still continues to lead the way. But look at that number 13 of Alan Capers. He's sniffing that lead. Ooh, we got really tight there. Almost got it to the outside wall coming out of turn number 4. And I know, Cameron, you highlighted turn number 4 as possibly Calamity Corner earlier in the night, and it does seem like it's one of those places where you can make a small individual mistake and it can lead to trouble there. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that, as Capers now trying a little bit higher line through 3 and 4 this time, as Dave Wilson has scooted away just a little bit up at the front, and now Capers, he'll be watching his rear view mirror as he heads down the front straightaway, because here comes the number 3 of Tanner Sharp. Him and Tim Masters both in very similar looking cars. Sharp's going to make that pass. This is a battle a little bit further back. Billy Wise and Brian Lowhead, Nate Catilla now jumping a little bit forward. There is the number 13, Alan Capers, now back in the 3rd position, running all the way down there in the basement through 3 and 4. Pretty interesting to see if that line will be able to work, as we're almost 3 wide down the front stretch. Brian Lowhead in the 66, Chris Roberge, they're side by side. Roberge is currently sitting 2 laps down once it was all said and done. And whoa, look at this, 66 Lowhead jumps to the bottom through the dog leg, makes the pass, gets around Catilla and Billy Wise. So move Lowhead up into the 7th position. Pretty good, but he gets tight coming out of the corner, scrapes the wall. Cotilla's gone around in the 4 machine. He's going to get it woed up here. Not much damage on that number 4 machine, but that brings out the yellow.
Yeah, that's really, I was going to say the turns 3 and 4 is such a goofy end of the racetrack, you know, just because of the way that you go through the dog leg. Catilla got nabbed by the 98 as he hit the, that was reverse in the 98. He hit the wall and just had bounced down into the 4, and, you know, really nothing either driver can do there.
I'm sure Nate Catilla's thinking that he's a ping pong ball tonight, because it seems like he's getting caught up in just about everything in one way or another. But it'd be interesting to see if he decides to use a faster pair this time.
Yeah, really, I mean, that could have been a lot worse. He spun out literally right in the middle of the track and could have gotten hit by a few more cars, but really got off a lot better than he thought. But yeah, turns 3 and 4 is such a goofy end of the speedway, because you come into such an acute angle if you run that dogleg line that really can mess up your entry and really just can cause havoc. I mean, we might be seeing that here tonight. I don't know if the track's slick or if it's not, but either way, these drivers pit and probably think it is, because they are going to come down and probably get 4 fresh tires and fuel.
And it's good news for all you Dominic Lee fans, because he's going to be waved around the pace car, I do believe, and that number 2 machine will be back on the lead lap. So that's good to see.
I have to assume he had a penalty or something, because he just came in the box and stopped for a few seconds and then left. So not sure what it might have been for, but definitely unscheduled anyway.
All your leaders on pit road. Here comes Dave Wilson. Oh man, a close battle off pit road. Wilson is just going to stay ahead of Tanner Sharp. Kyle Zimmer going to be your front 3 off of pit road. Travis Zudem, a good run by that number 90 machine tonight. He's the 4th driver off pit road. And Brian Lowhead just behind him. So good run by Zudema and Lowhead so far. And there is Roberge coming down pit road in that number 98. We saw him clobber that wall coming out of turn number 4. Not too sure if he'll decide to get that machine repaired or use a fast repair here. We'll have to wait and see. And there's the number 80 of Kevin Cochran. Cochran, I think he's tried to stay out to lead a lap. Might have been successful in that attempt. There's the number 99, Johnny Berardi, who does stay out and is currently your race leader in that number 99 Ford. So cool to see Berardi out front. We'll have to see if he just decided to stay out to lead a lap, or whether he's going to roll the dice here in the desert. Not quite Las Vegas, but not too far away in the grand scheme of things. So, you know, all these drivers were throwing the dice at Vegas just the other night, and in the MS Ford Truck Series. Now they're going to be possibly thinking of doing the same here tonight at Phoenix, as all these cars roll through turns number 3 and 4 under the pace car. Relatively quick pace car for only a 1.5 mile track, about 55 miles an hour. That pace car is going around the track.
I gotta assume whether or not you're throwing the dice is probably gonna depend on how well you did at Vegas throwing the dice, because I know if I went to a casino there and got a little bit lucky, I might just go ahead and take those dice home with me. But if I wasn't, then, you know, they can stay there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and not ever use them again.
You did see the number 33 of Doug McCollum. He's gonna take the wave around here. So Doug McCollum now only 1 lap down, trying to mount a charge back from being 2 laps down and being stuck in the outside wall. Tough luck there for Doug, but he's halfway back to being on the lead lap. So keep an eye out on that number 33, because he was definitely pretty quick in practice. Was 3rd fastest in practice, and that number 33, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him up near the front once this is all said and done. But we're about to go back to green flag racing in the hands of Johnny Berardi. Dave Wilson, leader of the most laps tonight, to his outside. Green flag back in the air. Berardi gets this underway. Ooh, a little bit of a love tap there by the number 3 right behind him as they dive off into the corner. Ooh, really tight behind the number 3 of Tanner Sharp as well. Everyone having to check up just a little bit as we're now 3 wide off the corner. We were 3 wide for just a moment. Tanner Sharp looking to the outside of Berardi here as they go off into turns number 3 and 4. There's Brian Lowhead now looking to the outside of Berardi. Berardi on those older tires, not quite able to stay up near the front, as it's like he's now got Zudema looking to the inside of him. So maybe those old tires are not quite working out for the 99.
No, and he's actually getting bobbed around a little bit. Got contact with 17, and he got moved out of the way a little bit. So those old tires definitely just not having any grip right here. But here at the front, we see Kyle Zimmer working on Dave Wilson, see if he can get around him and go back to where he started this race, and that was at the pole. Definitely going to want to get back there as quickly as possible. Just a little bit behind, that's Tanner Sharp. Started 3rd on the restart. You see Christopher Burge on pit road. I'm not sure what happened there, but he is coming down for something. I can't imagine it's for anything other than a penalty.
Yeah, tough luck for Christopher Burge. Already 2 laps down, and it'll be interesting to see if he hits his pit box. I think he is. He's in his pit box now. So Christopher Burge already 2 laps down. Now 3 as the leaders race past them, going 130 miles an hour through turns number 1 and 2. And like you said, Cameron, Kyle Zimmer's all over the back bumper of Dave Wilson. And we've seen Kyle Zimmer be absolutely spectacular in races where he started from the pole. In fact, pretty much if Kyle Zimmer wins the pole, you got a 50-50 shot of Kyle Zimmer winning that race. He's really strong from the pole position, and he's backing that up here tonight with a strong running in the 2nd position. They have about 0.4 of a second back behind Zimmer is Tanner Sharp, and then there's a 2.5 seconds back to Travis Zudema in the number 90. So really a 3-car breakaway up the front. There is Zudema on your screen, and right behind him is the number 2, Dominic Lee. He's mounting a charge. He was 1 lap down earlier in the race, now back on the lead lap and battling for the 4th position. Just about 0.3 behind Zudema. But everything kind of settling down here just a little bit, Cameron. I think we're finally starting to see a run that looks like it might be a green flag run.
Yeah, and these 3 cars at the front really running pretty identical lap times. It looks like Kyle Zimmer might be just a little bit faster, but he is in that dirty air of Dave Wilson. There's the 99 pit road. Probably had enough of those old tires, just not gripping at all for him. But I tell you what, the 25 Zimmer, he is absolutely rolling 3 and 4 better than anyone else on this track I'm seeing. He's actually going to look below here. He's driving all the way below that yellow line. He's able to roll that corner really well, just cannot get the power down though because he's stuck in that dirty air of the 20. So he's going to have to find another way around him. And it's going to be interesting to see if him getting held up a little bit will allow the 3 of Tanner Sharp to come into this battle.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about. We have a caution in turns number 1 and 2. Looks like the number 48 might be involved, and there he is. That's Mark Dingman. And not quite sure what happened here. He's going to get that machine rolling. Back under his own power. I saw Nate Tilla also got maybe a little bit of contact here. Ooh, he just came down, and the number 80 was there, and Tim Masters had nowhere to go. That number 9 getting a little bit of damage. He saw the number 4 in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Nate Catilla, looks like he locked up the brakes maybe and got into the wall. We'll watch this looking out back of the number 48. He goes off into the corner. I don't quite know if he knew that the 80 of Kevin Cochran was down there. And there you saw Tim Masters kind of had nowhere to go. Hopefully not much damage on those cars. It didn't really make any hard contact with the wall. So that's good. We're riding on board here with Tim Masters. And all of a sudden there was a car sideways and oh, he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, literally nothing you can do at that point. And like you said earlier about Nate Catilla, it looks like the 9, Tim Masters, he's got to feel the same way too. Just like, what did he do wrong? Because he seems to be involved in everything today.
Mark Dingman is on pit road. He's getting his, trying to get that damage repaired. He will fall 1 lap down. Doug McCollum in the number 33 will be the lucky dog. And so move Doug McCollum back to the lead lap. We were just mentioning it a minute ago. how that number 30. Oh, look at the number 2, Dominic Lee. He's missed his pit box. And, man, it took him forever to find his pit box finally. Oh, Tanner Sharp. First one off pit road. We've seen Tanner Sharp throw the dice a couple times here tonight. And again here. So it looks like Tanner Sharp taking 2 tires once again. And now that number 3 will be the first car off pit road. Looks like Tanner Sharp's liking those 2 tires.
Yeah, really, I would say some of the drivers were saying that the setup was a little bit tight here tonight. You know, we've seen cars get loose off turn number 4, but really that doesn't change the fact that the setup can still be tight around the rest of the track. And sometimes, you know, I've done this myself. Taking 2 tires can sort of loosen that car up a bit and make it drive a little bit better, just to kind of change the balance. And we might see Tanner doing that because he that's two in a row he's done that.
So Tanner Sharp now back at the point, the number 98 of Chris Roberge right in front of him. Roberge is 3 laps down, but assuming he'll take the wave around here, he'll be back to 2 laps down. Mark Dingman did lose a lap repairing his damage on the number 48 Camaro. So he's now 1 lap down. There he is. The only car 1 lap down, I should add. So that's definitely much in his favor. Johnny Berardi in the number 99 is still sitting on pit road. I think Cameron, he came down pit road under that green flag run, and he is yet to move. So hopefully that number 99, Berardi, will be able to make it back out onto the circuit, but only time will tell. He's currently sitting in the 17th position.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he used all of his fast repairs or what, but he definitely is not going anywhere. Might be called it a day. I don't know. He has not pulled out of the race as of yet, but we'll have to wait and see. He did have a pretty good run going. Led a few laps out there and was running solidly. And I'm not sure what happened to the rear of that car. It looks like he got just run in the back of a little bit because it's a little dented up. But anyway, back here at the front, we got Tanner Sharp. He's your leader. He's on 2 tires, and that's Dave Wilson who's outside. He's on 4. So let's see which of these tire strategies will prevail on this restart.
The number 98 of Chris Roberge did take the wave around. He joins the back of the pack, so he's, like we said, now 2 laps down. We'll have to see if Roberge can mount a charge to get back on the lead lap as this race continues. But it is currently in the hands of Tanner Sharp as we're about to get set to go back to green. Green flag flying in the air. Tanner Sharp hard on the gas. And, man, he got a great jump over Dave Wilson as there's now side-by-side for the 2nd position. That's Wilson to the outside of Kyle Zimmer. We've seen Kyle Zimmer getting great runs through the center of the corner, and there he goes again. All these drivers diving right down onto that dogleg. They're 3 wide for 2nd.
Oh, contact!
Oh man, they
more contact.
Oh no! Just as I was about to say, they keep it going green.
Oh
There's
no!
Contact with Dave Wilson. Oh man, that's Tim Masters once again in the number 9 machine. And Cameron, you just said it. Tim Masters. He must feel like a ping pong ball as well, because there he goes again, caution back in the air. But yeah, there are 3 wide going off into the corner, and that little bit of contact there with Dominic Lee send that number 20 sideways. Let's see if we go a little bit further back on the replay. And there they are, 3 wide down the backstretch going through the dog leg. No one giving anyone an inch, and the number 2 kind of came down on the 25. Don't think the 25 could have gotten down any lower. And number 2's got shot up the racetrack and into the side of that number 20. Oh man, Tim Masters in that number 9. I want to watch this, see if we can get it on board. There we go. And you see that contact right there in front of him. He's trying to figure out if everything's good. But Dave Wilson just kind of comes out of nowhere and right into those barrels there at the end of pit road. Luckily, he didn't get stuck in those barrels. I know I've gotten stuck in those barrels before, but he was actually able to get that thing back going straight and on pit road. So we'll have to see if Tim Masters can use a fast repair or something to get back out there. I know the 20 of Dave Wilson will most likely use a fast repair. So we're now just over, well, I say just over. We're basically to the 1/3 distance right now as Wilson does use that fast repair. I believe that's his first of 4 fast repairs in this race. But Tanner Sharp sitting out front. I know he's used one of his fast repairs already in that number 3 Chevrolet. But now he's led 5 laps and hopes to lead quite a few more. But man, oh man, they were 3 wide for second when that caution inevitably came out.
Yeah, just not enough room in that corner. We saw 2 cars make contact, and then one of those cars shot into another, and unfortunately the 9 of Tim Masters involved in something that had nothing to do with him really at all once again. So he's just got to wondering where it all went wrong tonight, because you know he really hasn't done anything wrong himself, just involved in other people's stuff. So but he did have a fast repair remaining, so that is the good news for him. So he will be back on the track. Actually, he is pulling back up to the backfield right now with a clean car, and you know, if I were him, I'd just run around on the inside of the wall for a few laps and just try to not get hit by anything, or just try not to get a missile launched at him or something, because it seems like he's just got the worst luck here tonight.
Yeah, definitely tough luck. And there are races that are, you know, like that. You feel like everything is out to get you, but hopefully we can see that number 9 work his way back up through the field as this race continues to go on. He did use a fast repair, so that number 9 Chevrolet is nice and clean, as we have now reached the 1/3 mark in this event. Next week here on 3 Wide TV, we have the SimPossible B cars in action at Auto Club Speedway. The West Swing here continues in the SimPossible Racing League, as pace car lights have now turned off. The number 3 of Tanner Sharp leading the way. Kyle Zimmer to his outside. Dominic Lee trying to bounce back after going a lap down early. He's sitting 3rd. Travis Zudema, great run for him. He's sitting in 4th. Billy Wise kind of had a yo-yo race, but that number 32 has worked his way back up into the top 5. Alan Capers 6th. Fernando Matos 7th. Brian Lowhead 8th. Doug McCollum back on the lead lap now. 3rd in practice. He's going to currently sit 9th. Nate Cotillo, last week's winner at Vegas, is 10th, as we have pace car lights off. We'll get set to go back to green flag racing. There goes the pace car with that hard left down pit road. Back in the hands of Tanner Sharp, and green flag back in the air here. And man, everyone up the front getting a great start, including Kyle Zimmer. That outside line got going just about the same time the number 3 did. We'll see if Kyle Zimmer can pinch that number 3 down up off the corner. Not quite able to do so there, but that number 25 gets a pretty good run. But man, Tanner Sharp cut that dog leg. Ooh, got a little bit close there going into the corner. Looks like Kyle Zimmer was thinking about seeing if he could close down on Dominic Lee, but not able to do so. And I think that number 25, oh, Lowhead up on 2 wheels. Oh, Catilla, hard to the inside wall. Back up across the track. We're back under the yellow flag here. And man, Lowhead was on 2 tires as they were 3 wide coming out of turn number 4. And unfortunately for Catilla, I don't think he had anywhere to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, another driver tonight who has been in everything and anything not involved in his own doing. That's Nick Cotillo, which is a shame, because to go from the highest highs of last week to just probably wondering what else can go wrong at this point. But I don't know. We'll see if he has another fast repair remaining. Get back on the track. Yeah, just I don't know, those 2 tires with the 66 on Lowhead. Maybe they just lost grip from nothing he could do there. Just something out. Mark, that's 48 of Mark Dingman. He looks like he's spun out. Is that under caution, or is that a separate accident? That, oh yeah, it's in the same accident. So yeah, it just looks like he got in the back of the 9 really hard there. Wow.
Tim Masters
again. Man, we just need to stop showing him on the broadcast at this point, because he's just got to be wondering, like, what is wrong, you know?
Well, we do have a couple of takers on pit road, led by Travis Zudema. We're going to see if we can grab a word with your current race leader, Tanner Sharp. See if we can get him up here in the 3 Wide TV booth. Hey, Tanner Sharp, short up here in the 3 Wide TV booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Seems like 2 tires has been your game here tonight, getting that track position. How important is track position? Because it looks pretty treacherous out there.
It is pretty treacherous out there. Track position's working great since we're getting all these caution flags to keep me in the lead. I need a green flag run to really see what this car is going to do on 2 tires against the 4 tires that are right behind me. So, but if this continues the way it is, we're going to stay up front here. Really much I can say about right now for this run. Just sitting under caution here and having a little live stream on Facebook of my onboard view and having fun out here.
Absolutely. And what's the track driving like? You know, the sun continues to set. Are you starting to see the track transition a little bit? It looks tight from where we're sitting.
Tight in turn 1, 1 and 2. It's a lot cooler because the sun is beating down on 1 and 2, but 1 and 2 is turned into shade, so it's cooling off 1 and 2 a lot faster in 3 and 4, but it's causing 1 and 2 to be a lot more tighter, and it's a lot more stable in 3 and 4. And of course, in 3 and 4, there's not really any banking there; it's practically flat. So we're just trying to take it easy, not dive bomb the corners. It's been happening here tonight with a couple of guys. Just trying to take care of our own stuff here and be up front where it counts.
Yeah, and definitely it looks like in turns number 3 and 4, a couple of drivers are out there trying to find grip in different lines. Have you been able to find a line that works for you, or are you still searching for that line that will get you the W here tonight?
I found it in 3 and 4. I'm searching for it in 1 and 2, but I'm not going to give away any secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tanner, I'm assuming you have the 2 to go here, about to get the 1 to go. As we'll cross the stripe, so definitely you're getting the 1 to go, so we'll let you get back to the business and see if you can get yourself a win here tonight at ISM Raceway.
10-4, thank you.
Alright, well that's your race leader, Tanner Sharp, driver of the number 3 Nationwide Chevrolet. Here under the caution flag as we are getting pretty close to the halfway mark, Cameron, and it's starting to get fairly dark out there.
Yeah, the sun is setting quite a bit quicker than normal, and we'll have to tell Tanner that now that he told us he's not going to give us secrets, we'll have to watch him a bit more closely to see what he's doing. But definitely going to make the track drive a little bit different. I do believe with the amount of time we probably will be at least somewhat nighttime at the time this race ends, so definitely going to be a bit different track.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's currently 6 o'clock local time in-game as the pace car has headed down pit road. Green flag back in the air. And, ooh, man, that inside line starting to check up just a little bit. A few cars behind Tanner Sharp, but Sharp gets a good restart. Kyle Zimmer also gets a good restart on that high side. And we've seen that high side. Oh, contact the 2 and the 25 together. And I think they all saved it. We're still green flag, but Zimmer is going to drop way back.
Yeah, that was just a product. Looks like the 2 got in the bottom there. Just really just cleaned the 25 out. Just didn't even give him any room. I'm not sure what that was about. Dominic has been quite aggressive this race. I can't imagine there's going to be too many drivers happy the way he's driving. Especially the 25 of Kyle Zimmer, because remember he was involved in that big accident 3 and 4 with the 2. So I will have to imagine that those 2 will have to have words after this race, because that was a bit of a dirty move there. But either way, we are fighting for the lead. Well, at the front, that is Tanner Sharp and Dominic Lee going at it with Pete Wilson right behind them.
I mean, you say it's a dirty move, but I think Dominic caught the apron, which kind of exacerbated the push on that number 2 machine, and so I don't know if there was any, bad intent there or anything like that, but definitely hitting that inside groove. But look at this, looks like Dominic Lee got tight coming out of turn number 4, had to roll out of it, and here comes the number 20 of Dave Wilson. What a recovery by him. We saw him and the 2 make contact not too many laps ago, but Wilson's going to take it all the way down to the basement. They're going to dive off. Oh, contact! Now Dominic Lee is sideways, going off into the corner. Is he still sideways? He turns it up into the wall. The number 2, contact! Fernando Matos arrived on scene a little late, and that number 2 is now junked.
That just got 10 times worse.
Yeah, that number 2 is absolute trash. He's completely crabbing. So I don't think there was any actual contact on my screen. I think it might have been a little bit of netcode, but we'll see on the replay. It just didn't quite seem like they were close together enough to initiate real contact. There you can see, you can't quite see if there was contact or not from that angle. For all of you who are unaware of the word netcode, it's something that all of us racers fear. All of us sim racers, I should say, fear. It's when the internet becomes your least favorite friend. You see as they dive off into the corner here. And you can see the number 2 already sideways. He tried to save it. And when he did try and save it, he just went straight up into the wall. Oof, man. Unfortunately, Dominic Lee just ended up on the line that Fernando Matos was in, and Matos had nowhere to go. So tough break for Matos, but right on board with him here, and that number 17 Haviland Ford. And you see the car swing up ahead, and all of a sudden he comes down the racetrack. Ouch! And got the backhand of the number 98 of Chris Roberge. So a couple of drivers involved there as secondary incidents, but all the drivers on pit road. Dave Wilson, first car off pit road. Actually, excuse me, Tanner Sharp was first car off pit road. Dave Wilson, second car off pit road.
That was great for Tanner because he's back on the same strategy as everyone else on 4 tires.
Yeah, Tanner Sharp with a pretty good pit stop. Looks like Tim Masters might have taken 2 tires in the number 9. So we'll have to keep an eye on Tim. He had a 9.4 second pit stop there. So you'd have to think that Masters did only take 2, tried to get some track position. He will be the 4th car, I do believe, that just pitted. Yep, it's Tanner Sharp, Dave Wilson, Zudema, and Masters. So Masters taking 2. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Matos actually came down pit road, and Matos didn't seem like he was that interested in getting some of that damage repaired, Cameron. That number 17 Ford is pretty damaged right behind Tim Masters, so not quite sure what happened then. And then you have Kyle Zimmer right behind Matos. Zimmer got his number 25 repaired. We've seen that number 25 fast here tonight. So keep an eye as they go through the field. Mark Dingman stayed out, I do believe, in the number 48 machine. So he'll actually assume the race lead. Brian Lowhead, who was the race leader, is coming down pit road, so he stayed out to lead that lap. Chris Roberge in the number 98, he got a little piece of that last incident, but with this caution and this wave around, he'll be back on the lead lap. So all but Johnny Berardi, who looks to have retired the number 99 Ford. Unfortunately, 16 drivers will now be on the lead lap as Brian Lowhead hits his pit box right there. You saw the number 17 Fernando Matos on pit road once again, probably to get some of that damage.
Takes that fast repair finally.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been that competitive with that amount of damage that he got, especially with getting into the back of Dominic Lee so fast and with so much energy as he did under this caution. But pace car lights are off once again, and that will put Mark Dingman in the race lead in the number 48. We've seen some good pace out of him. He did start 3rd in this race, so keep an eye on Dingman as the pace car pulls down to the inside. As all these drivers now turn towards the sun, the green flag back in the air. Oh, Tanner Sharp, great restart by the number 3 Chevrolet of Tanner Sharp, and he's going to jump to the race lead once again. Look at Travis Zudema. He's trying to make that high line work. He's going to fall into the 4th position in the number 90, but everyone now going to dive down through the dog leg on the back straight. Ooh, almost contact between Tim Masters and Alan Capers. Capers all the way down on the apron. Picking up some dusty so far down there, but everything gets sorted out. We're side by side now for 2nd as Dave Wilson trying to find a way around Mark Dingman. Indeed he does, coming out of turn number 1. They're now 3 wide right behind them. Kyle Zimmer going to dive all the way down to the basement. He's going to clear the number 90 of Zudema, and now Zimmer goes to work on Dingman. So Zimmer definitely trying to make a bounce back here from being involved in a little bit of contact with Dominic Lee just about 15 laps ago.
And we know that 25 is fast for a start on the pole, so he just needs to get around these cars in front of him. Another car who is pretty quick is that 33 of Doug McCollum. We saw him about 3 laps down early on this race, and he is back up to 7th. Started, did not actually qualify. He started 15th, so we'll see how he can get on in this field. Of course, we see him, he is a part-timer in this league, and he is quite fast every week. Dingman in the wall. 48 has hit the wall pretty hard, so he's going to lose the spot to the 90 of Zudema. And he's still in the wall, still having some issues up in turn number 1 here. He's going to lose the spot to Masters, and I think that's 33 of McCollum, Alan Capers. So really lost all of his momentum there. And out of that, Tanner Sharp has about a 1.5 second lead, so he is driving away at the moment.
Yeah, Tanner Sharp last time by about a 10th faster than everyone else in the field. This time by not the same result. Kyle Zimmer this time by fastest car. So Tanner Sharp definitely showing some muscle up there at the front, as is Kyle Zimmer. Dave Wilson a little bit slower than both Sharp and Zimmer. So we'll have to see if Zimmer is able to close down Dave Wilson and battle for the 2nd position. The battle for 4th between Masters, Capers, that's cooled down. Looks like Masters has cemented himself in the 5th position. Capers 6th. Doug McCollum now running in the 7th position. In fact, that battle for 6th is heating up. We saw a driver just coming off pit road. That's Kevin Cochran in the number 80. There's a lot of rear end damage to that number 80 machine. In fact, he came down pit road. He's now 1 lap down. Not quite sure. Oh, the number 48 in the wall. And that's obviously going to bring out a caution flag. Oh my gosh, let's see what happened there. It's been turn 4 once again, Calamity Corner, and he was down there on the apron. Looks like it just pushed up on him, hit that wall really hard and into the inside wall. Looks like everyone did a great job of avoiding that number 48 machine as he spun and sat sideways on the racing surface. We'll see if we can catch this from on board that number 48 machine. Looks like he might have clipped the apron just a little bit. Oof, that's a hard lick with the wall.
Yeah, we said before this race that this track is actually pretty wide, except in the front stretch. You have that wall right around the bottom of the track, and it really makes it hard to... it makes wrecks really hard there. We've kind of seen that in real life and in the sim here tonight. Just... yeah, no room. Once something happens, you're going to hit the outside wall, and you're probably going to hit the outside and inside wall at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because really it's a track of 2 extremes. Is look at this. The number 20 of Dave Wilson is just about the only car to stay out here. The number 3, Tanner Sharp. The 25, Kyle Zimmer. The 90 of Zudema. Tim Masters on pit road, Alan Capers coming down, Doug McCollum. We did have a couple stay out, Brian Lowhead being one of those, but basically behind Dave Wilson and Brian Lowhead, every other driver was on pit road. And Cameron, I wouldn't want to be Dave Wilson right now.
Yeah, really, that's an interesting strategy, but you know, we'll have to see how it works. And we do have some news for you. The 2 of Dominic Lee did hit the inside wall before the caution and has pulled his car off the track and retired out of the event. So he will not finish tonight's race. Kind of a rough race for him, involved in a few incidents here and there, and I can't imagine there's going to be a few drivers that aren't too happy with him, but we'll have to wait till after the race. But we do have Dave Wilson, and he's right here. Dave Wilson, 3Y TV, you got a copy?
Yep.
All right, man. Well, we saw you stay out, and looks like Weston Field decided to do the opposite of you and pit. So we're up here wondering if that's going to be a good move or not. But how are you feeling about it?
I don't know. I know Tanner's fast, but the tire wear doesn't seem to be too extreme right now. It might slow me down a little bit, but hopefully if I can just hold on to the position, I should be good.
Yeah, it looks like the track is getting a little bit darker. The sun obviously setting just a little bit, but is that changing how the car is driving? Maybe making it a little bit easier to make the strategy call?
It's definitely making the car a bit tighter, so if you overdrive it, it's definitely gonna wear out your tires quite fast. But I'm trying to play it a bit easy right now. Just trying to save the tires as much as I can and see how long they'll last.
Yeah, absolutely, and really been kind of an up and down race for you. We've seen you out front and in some incidents so far. So what's your plan to get to the end of this race and maybe get this win?
Just hold off the fast guys like Tanner and Kyle. It's gonna be hard to do on these older tires, but hopefully I have the speed to do it. From now on, it's just gonna be about pacing myself and just trying to keep it nice and consistent and just try to get a good finish out of it.
All right, man. Well, we will definitely keep an eye on you. We'll let you get back to your job at hand. The pace car lights are off, so thank you very much for talking about us.
Yeah, no problem.
And that was Dave Wilson, your leader right now. Stayed out on those tires, so you heard him there, Peter, saying he doesn't know what's going to happen, but he's just gonna try to do it.
Yeah, interesting to see what happens, but only time will tell. Because he has definitely shown that number 20 machine is nice and fast, but as has Tanner Sharp in the number 3. As pace car now down pit road, is set to go back to green flag racing, led by the man we just talked to, Dave Wilson. Green flag back in the air. Oh my gosh, Tanner Sharp! What a jump for that outside line! It basically caught Wilson sleeping, and Travis Zudema trying to make the move up into second, not able to do so. But what a rocket! That number 3 to the lead.
Yeah, he absolutely just was on the gas a few seconds before the 20 even went going. Oh, we have some cars up on the wall. Turn 4. That's the Zudema and Roberge. Looks like they will be just fine, but we have a battle for second here. That is Kyle Zimmer going to try to use those 4 fresh tires he has to get around the 20. Dave Wilson takes a very wide arc around turn number 1. I don't think that'll work too much. There's not that much grip out there, and indeed there's not. Kyle Zimmer to second place.
Look at this side-by-side battle right behind them. That's brewing. Oh, Chris Roberge dove it off into turn number 3 and almost got the left rear quarter panel of Tim Masters. Oh, the 20's in the wall! Dave Wilson hard in the wall coming out of turn number 4. It's going to stack up Tim Masters, and Masters probably finally like I didn't hit someone for once. But
that was a great avoidance by him.
Yeah, Tim Masters definitely slammed on his brakes, did not get into the back of the 20, but that number 20 now, whole bunch of rights. Oh, contact there between Zudema and Tim Masters in turns number 3 and 4. As you watch that replay, the back live, Tanner Sharp on pit road. Oh, this is probably a black flag, Cameron. I think Tanner must have gotten nabbed by the officials, scraping the wall a little bit on pit road. He must have been nabbed by the officials and got a black flag. And if so, that's going to hand the race lead, well, regardless, it's going to hand the race lead to Kyle Zimmer in the number 25 machine. So Zimmer back out front. He's led a few laps here tonight, but definitely still back leading the way. And well, it looks like Tanner Sharp just had to stop and hold. He's back out there, and yep, black flag for passing the leader for that number 3 machine. So Tanner Sharp trying to get that thing back up to speed. He's going to be 1 lap down to new race leader Kyle Zimmer. It's about 1.2 seconds back to Doug McCollum out the back of that number 25. And there is Tanner Sharp. He's going to try and see if he can work his way back on the lead lap the hard way. But right behind him, he's got a couple of hungry cars. Alan Capers, Dave Wilson, and Tim Masters, all right behind Tanner Sharp. Actually, here goes Tanner. He's going to try to get to the inside of Chris Roberge. What a run by Roberge. Haven't really talked about him in a while, but he's got that number 98 Toyota up into the 3rd position. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's running great. Has had a lot of issues tonight. Been laps down for most of this race, it seems, but either way, he's got that car pretty well fixed up and probably just going to let the 3 go. Just going to let the 3 go as the cone suffers another unfortunate death tonight. That cone count is probably in the hundreds. Ooh, close there between Capers and Wilson. That 20 car quite heavily damaged. We saw him get in the wall just a few laps ago, and I can't imagine, Peter, that car is driving very well at all at this point. We know how bent up these cars get when you do that, plus those old tires, so he's just got to be absolutely hollering for a caution right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I'm looking at Wilson's lap times, and last time by he was about 0.4 of a second slower than Kyle Zimmer. So that's a pretty significant lap delta between those two cars. We'll have to see how that changes as the run goes on. You're riding on board with Alan Capers, currently running in the 5th position, just behind Dave Wilson, and just behind Capers is Tim Masters. Oh, rest in peace, Cone Man. I don't know who keeps putting the cone out there, but I really, really don't want to be the guy who keeps putting the cone out there on the track, because he seems like he has to do it every other lap, and I wouldn't really want to run out there in front of a whole bunch of race cars going, 150 miles an hour plus.
Yeah, really, that guy's the real VIP of this race. Just going out there and putting that cone out there without a fuss, and really valiant effort there. But Alan Capers here, he's the one that keeps hitting it, and we're riding on board with him. He's having a good run. Started 16th, running up in the top 5 solidly. Has largely stayed out of trouble tonight. He's running absolutely not. I think he's somewhere up in Flagstaff, Arizona. He's so far down there, but just really running a odd line there. But it's working for him. He's running solidly in the top 5. Have a good run. Has stayed out of trouble for the most part, and it's making it work for him.
Well, the cone will be happy because Capers didn't quite get down far enough this lap to hit it. So we'll see it stay in its same spot for at least another lap, as this is a battle between Catilla and Billy Wise. Catilla getting pretty close, and you'll start to notice shadows around the racetrack as the electricity company has finally turned on the lights here at ISM Raceway. The lights just now coming on as the sun continues to set here over the cacti in the desert in Monument Hill, just outside of turn number 4. That's all these drivers now racing down the front. There's the number 25, your race leader of Kyle Zimmer. And we'll have to keep an eye on where the number 3 of Tanner Sharp is. Sharp is a couple seconds behind the race leader, but he is 1 lap down, so he's gonna try and get his lap back the old-fashioned way, and we'll have to see if he can do so, as the race leader Kyle Zimmer has caught Brian Lowhead in the number 66. Lowhead currently the last car on the lead lap. At least he was the last car on the lead lap, as Zimmer has now put him 1 lap down. That will be a battle for position when Tanner Sharp inevitably catches Lowhead. So Tanner better be hoping a caution flag doesn't come out right now, because the lucky dog would be Lowhead. There is the 32, Billy Wise, still battling back there with Matos in the number 17. This is a battle for the 10th position on the racetrack. They're still side by side coming out of turn number 4. Billy Wise going to hold on to that for now. Now he's going to go after the 4 of Catilla. Finally getting a little bit of a green flag run in here. It's like about 17 or so laps of green flag racing. This is a close battle between Tim Masters, Kevin Cochran, and Travis Zudema. Masters currently holding onto the 6th position, Cochran 7th, and Zudema 8th. And right in front of them is Alan Capers in the 5th position. So really, this is a 4-car battle for 5th. Zudema into the outside wall, just scraping it just a little bit. So hopefully that doesn't affect that number 90 all too much. We've seen a great run out of Zudema tonight, as we are inside 50 laps to go. In fact, now at 43 laps to go.
Yeah, just a bit ahead of Capers got in the wall just a little bit. Just a bit ahead. The 20 of Dave Wilson has caught his teammate Chris Roberge, even with all that damage, so he's going to be looking to make the move here. And of course, that car, absolutely at its worst, has old tires, damage, and probably a bit of a frustrated driver in there, but he's still going to try to go for 3rd, and he does right here. Gets a good run off turn number 4. Going to use that momentum on the outside, see if he can hold it through 1 and 2. I don't think he will, because there's not much grip up there, but he holds it pretty well, and I don't think Roberge is going to dive it down to the apron here and use that shorter line around the track to keep ahead, but really bringing that car out for all it's worth, with definitely with the worst case scenario here, but that car will be absolutely quick if we do get a caution. He can get it fixed up and get tires on it.
Just behind these drivers, Tim Masters has actually made the pass on Alan Capers for 5th. So move Masters into the 5th position. Kevin Cochran actually was able to slide by Capers too. So Cochran in the number 80 as Alan Capers got the cone once again. Alan Capers slid back into 7th, and now he's fallen into the clutches of Travis Zudema in the number 90. So that will be a battle now for the 7th position, looking out the back of Mr. Capers. And Zudema trying to find that way around. In fact, seems like Masters and Cochran are now locked in their own battle. You see them just ahead. That is the battle that rages on for the 5th position. There goes the cone again.
Yeah, I think he's just aiming for it at this point because he's hitting it every lap. So Alan Capers not a fan of cones apparently. But anyway,
I think what Alan Capers is hoping for is a bonus point every time he hits the cone. But you saw there, Dave Wilson made the move on Chris Roberge. Those teammates swapping position. Wilson back now up into the 3rd position. He's about 7.5 seconds behind Kyle Zimmer up at the front. Not much going on between your 2 race leaders, Zimmer and McCollum. McCollum seems to be trading fast laps with Zimmer, so they just keep ebbing and flowing up at the front. Last time by, you can see there, Doug McCollum is about a 1.5 second, or excuse me, 0.15 seconds slower than Zimmer. Not quite 1.5 seconds. But the gap is 1.5 seconds, so, you know, can't quite get things right. But that time by Doug McCollum, 3/1000ths of a second faster. So I think really those 2 leaders are just finding their rhythm, and Cameron Phoenix is one of those rhythm tracks.
Yeah, and really, what I was looking at is look at that car right on the screen right there. That's Tanner Sharp. I have to wonder, he is a little bit quicker than Kyle Zimmer, and of course he wants to get his lap back. He would be the lucky dog as of now, but it's always better to get your lap back, and he has fresher tires. You know, those 2 cars, not quite teammates, they are ex-teammates, but you have to wonder, is there going to be a little deal made there, like, hey, you know, don't race me because you might slow me down a little bit, and maybe Tanner will give Kyle a little bit of a break here.
Possibly, but look at that line that Tanner Sharp is running through 3 and 4. I know earlier in the race he said he wasn't going to give away secrets, but I think that secret is pretty much telling with that funky line that he's running, really backing up his corner, backing up his entry with a late apex going through turn number 4, and it seems to be working for Tanner. Let's watch him this time. He's running pretty high up on the racetrack in that middle groove and then cuts it right down to the yellow line on exit. It seems like he gets this, he just straightens up the exit of the corner and really closes up on the back bumper now of Kyle Zimmer. Zimmer's going to run a little bit higher here through 1 and 2. I wonder if Zimmer's going to let him by, as they're now side by side going through the dog leg, and I would presume that Zimmer's just going to let Tanner by here.
Yeah, I have to imagine that's just what happened there. So Kyle Zimmer using his head, knowing that Tanner is faster, of course has the newer tires like we said, so there's no point in trying to race him or anything. Maybe he can learn something from that 3 car. Of course that 3 car has been extremely quick all race, so nothing lost for Kyle Zimmer. He's still in the lead by about 1.5 seconds over Doug McCollum. So a good exchange right there.
And now they have the number 99 of Johnny Berardi, who has a wild Johnny Berardi has appeared. He's back out on track in that number 90 machine. Yeah, did scrape the wall there a little bit. Number 33 of Doug McCollum. They're like working to avoid that number 99 machine, but Johnny is 47 laps down. If he can stay out there for about 15 more laps, he can pass the number 2 of Dominic Lee, who has retired from the event. In fact, I think his engine was smoking. I think he might have been out of fast repairs, so there's no chance Dominic will return to the circuit here tonight. So if Berardi can just see this one out, I think he's got an extra point or so in his future. So you look a little bit further back in this pack, and the battle for the 4th position has closed up considerably, as Tim Masters and Kevin Cochran, they've been running nose to tail now for quite a few laps. They've closed in on Chris Roberge a pretty decent amount, and over the last 5 laps or so, Tim Masters and Kevin Cochran have been averaging about a 1/10.5 faster than Chris Roberge, and that's over the last 5. So we'll have to see if the number 9 and the number 80 can close in on Roberge, see if they can battle him for that position. Ooh, Roberge slipped up just a little bit in 1 and 2. So, yeah, I definitely think Masters and Cochran are primed to battle with Roberge for 4th.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the back of that 9 car, Tim Masters, of course, well documented throughout this race. He's been involved in everything, and probably some more things. He'll have to watch out after the race. So we got a car on the wall here. That looks like that's the 66 of Lowhead, so he is going to lose. He's actually a lap down, so no harm, no foul for that. But that 9 car of Masters has a considerable amount of damage on the rear end, of course, out of fast pairs. Undoubtedly had to take probably all 4 of them about through midway of this race. I have to wonder if that is affecting the handling at all. Of course, we always say how much aero is important. This is not a super sensitive aero track, but it definitely can tighten up the car a little bit and make it a little bit worse to drive.
And this is a little bit further back. This is actually a battle for position. Tanner Sharp battling with Billy Wise and Tom Johnson for positions, and Tanner Sharp going to jump to the inside now of Tom Johnson. He got around Billy Wise, moved himself up into the 12th position, now with a pass on the 56. That is going to move Tanner up into the 11th position. His next car ahead of him is 5 seconds up the road, Fernando Matos, and that would be for a top 10 if Tanner can close in on him. But we only have 27 laps to go as Kyle Zimmer comes out of the final corner once again. We'll see what's going on back here. This is Tim Masters, and like we said, he's caught Chris Roberge, and he's going to try and do an over-under here. Got a great run out of the corner. They're going to be side by side down the front stretch for that 4th position. Roberge dives it into turn number 1. He's going to hold on to that spot for now, but Tim Masters, ooh man, Roberge cuts across the nose, going to go right down to the inside of the circuit. Going to get that, shorten up that dog leg, and that definitely seemed to give that number 98 a little bit of an advantage down the back straight. But Masters is still right there. And look at Travis Zudema. Zudema's closed in the back of on the back of Cochran, and Capers has fallen off the back about 4.5 seconds behind Zudema. And here we go on board with that number 90 machine. We've seen him up in the top 5 in this race. Now move to the inside of Kevin Cochran. Whoa, got really close.
Yeah, it's crazy when the cars take a line like that into turn 3 and they just can't turn, and it's so close. But really cool seeing them run that dogleg line around the track, especially on board. Ooh, we've a battle. It's Tim Masters going to go around Chris Roberge. Looks like they both slid up, but Masters slid up just a little bit less. And here comes Kevin Cochran, going to say thank you to both of you. I will go ahead and try to take both, but he cannot get the run into turn 3. Oh, he's going to make contact. That's Roberge around, and it looks like we're going to have a caution. Yes, we do.
Great job by Travis Zudema to avoid that wreck. And, man, it seemed like Roberge was spinning right in front of Zudema, but that's not what Roberge wanted to see.
Yeah, definitely not at all.
Yeah, that number 98 just went around. Luckily able to get things going right in front of the 13 there of Alan Capers. Capers was able to well up and not get into it. Watch this out back. And oof, just a little bit of contact there with the number 80, enough to get him sideways. And I'm sure all these drivers now will be really excited to come down pit road, get 4 fresh tires, get that damage repaired, especially Dave Wilson. He was running in the 3rd position. And Tanner Sharp, he's 11th on the lead lap. And finally going to be able to see if he can mount a charge up to the front in that number 3 machine.
Yeah, definitely. He was probably the one who wanted to see that caution the most, and right behind him, Dave Wilson. He can get that car fixed up. Did a great job hanging on with that car the way he did, so he will definitely want to get tires on the thing and get it all fixed up so we can get it run to the end.
Yeah, I have all those leaders now down pit road, as we all expected they would be. Zimmer going to see if he can get a good pit stop here and maintain the race lead. This could be the final pit stop of the night if we go caution-free to the end, Cameron. But cautions breed cautions. And I'm sure that will be in the mind of some of these drivers.
Yeah, you're very right about that, because we will have about 19, 18 laps to go when we go green, and we have seen the aggressiveness pick up throughout the race. It has been pretty high. I see a lot of strategy being played. Looks like a lot of cars doing some weird things. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because that Kyle Zimmer is going to come out behind Billy Wise. So well, Billy Wise was a lap down. Billy Wise is a lap down. So Kyle Zimmer will be the first one off pit road. Doug McCollum, second driver off pit road. Dave Wilson, third off pit road. And then behind them, looks like the number 9 of Tim Masters. Masters, I think he must be out of fast repairs, Cameron, because he's still got a load of damage on that number 9 machine. And, looks like Masters was letting Zudema by, so I think Zudema, I'm not quite sure if the number 9 or the number 90, which one of those will line up in the 4th. Looks like the 9 will, as the 90 let him by once again. But yeah, that number 9 car has quite a bit of damage in the 4th position, but we've definitely seen some pace out of him regardless.
Yeah, he has a lot of rear damage, and you have to wonder if that is affecting the handling, but I mean, at this point, not much you can do. Just ride it out and see what you can get out of it. Of course, he was quick, so I don't think it's really affecting him too much. I mean, it's better to have damage on the rear than the front anyway, so if you're going to have the damage, it might as well be back there.
Yeah, well, we got 20 laps to go here at ISM Raceway. We'll take you through your top 10. Kyle Zimmer leads here. Doug McCollum sitting in 2nd. Dave Wilson 3rd. Tim Masters 4th. Travis Zudema 5th. Chris Roberge 6th. Kevin Cochran sits 7th. Tom Johnson 8th. Tanner Sharp now sits in 9th position, and Fernando Matos sits in 10th. So good run by Matos, trying to see if he can get himself a top 10. He got a top 10 earlier this season at Las Vegas, so just last week Matos got himself a top 10 with a 9th place run. And Kyle Zimmer, of course, looking for his first B Car Series victory, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on, as is Doug McCollum just to his outside. So could we see a first-time winner in the B Car Series this season? Well, we'll have to wait about 18 or so laps to find out the answer to that question, as pace car has dived down once again onto pit road. The sun has set, but the energy is up. 18 laps to go. Green flag back in the air here at ISM Raceway. Everyone gets a great restart. Definitely Kyle Zimmer got a good restart. Doug McCollum caught a little bit sleeping. Here comes Dave Wilson. Wilson's going to make that move up into the 2nd position nice and cleanly. And now he's going to see if he can run down Zimmer for the race lead. Not able to do so here. That number 20 is going to try using the high side. Oh, look at Wilson. I think he's learned from Kyle Zimmer. Not Kyle Zimmer, Tanner Sharp. He's running the Tanner Sharp line, and he's going to get a great run down the front stretch, side by side for the race lead, going off into turn number 1. And man, Zimmer hit the gas early on there, coming out of the corners. We have another caution on the raceway. Oh, Chris Roberge.
Yeah, 90 to Roberge again. I'm not sure what happened there, but was having a good race, and it kind of just went downhill pretty quickly there. It looks like, oh, Tanner. Yeah, Tanner got into him, and nothing he did there. Just kind of got booted out of the way there.
Tough break for Chris Roberge, driver of the number 98 Sheen. As we're back under caution, and I was afraid to say cautions breed cautions, but at a track like ISM Raceway that races much like a short track, especially if, those first few laps after a caution flag, it undoubtedly races like a short track. You get cautions quite a bit.
Yeah, especially with the way these guys are racing here in the dogleg of the track. Of course, that's the kind of the highlight of what they did when they reconfigured this track. They got that big dogleg on the backstretch, so everybody runs way down. And we saw it with Zimmer and Wilson. Those two cars were absolutely right next to the wall, like nose to tail, and it was kind of sketchy from up there in the booth, but they made it work. So I gotta imagine that probably won't be the last one tonight, because like we said, the aggressiveness picking up, and it's now the time to make moves.
Yeah, with only 15 laps to go, it's make your move now or forever hold your peace, because if you don't do it now, you could lose out on victory. As you see Colin Zimmer pacing around as your race leader, you saw Billy Wise flash on by. He's the 14th place car, the only car that was 1 lap down, so move Billy Wise back up into the lead lap. Mark Dingman in that number 48 machine. He's currently sitting 21 laps down, and Johnny Berardi has actually made the pass on Dominic Lee, so a 99 out there turning laps. He's been able to gain 1 spot now. Unfortunately, that for him, there's not enough laps for him to pass Dingman, as Dingman will come home tonight in the 15th place. Berardi 16th and Dominic Lee 17th. But Berardi's going to try and see out this race in that number 99 machine, see if he can make it to the finish. He definitely got as much damage repaired as possible under that long pit stop that he had.
Real quick, while we are pacing under here, or under caution with 14 to go, I want to give a quick shout out to all of our chatters in chat. See a lot of fans of the 20 of David Wilson, see some fans of Kyle Zimmer, some fans of Christopher. So we hope you guys are all enjoying the show tonight, and thank you so much for chatting to us and keeping us company up here in the booth.
Yeah, our producer Carlos Acosta says that there's no fans for him, and we should keep it that way. He has a tendency to wreck people at Homestead. I'm sure Cameron Rich can attest to that.
I don't know what you're talking about, Peter.
Oh man, I just got kicked out of the booth by our producer. Man.
Carlos sent security into the booth to escort Peter out real quick. So, drama up here in the booth. We have championship implications for our broadcasters tonight, but either way, we're getting ready to go green here. So, we'll get our act together maybe by the end of this race, but should be a good finish, Peter. I'm excited to see what these guys can do.
Absolutely. Pace car lights are off. You actually see those headlights starting to make a difference out front as these lights around the track have come on, and lap after lap they get a little bit more prevalent. It's pretty awesome to see this this track transition into the darkness, but it won't get all the way dark. We only have 15 laps left. Pace car once again diving down with 12 laps to go, excuse me, as green flag thrown back in the air. Great restart by that number 25 machine. Dave Wilson just to his outside, trying to hold tough on that corner. Not able to do so, but Wilson is able to tuck in behind the number 25. Doug McCollum just behind them. McCollum's going to see if he can make a move up to the front, and keep an eye out for that number 3 of Tanner Sharp. Tanner Sharp move up into the 4th position. Look at Dave Wilson dives it down into turn number 3. Not going to be able to make it stick. And Sharp briefly made the pass for 4th, but it's like Tim Masters did the over-under and was able to get that position back. We're focusing on this battle for the lead. Dave Wilson's trying to use a different line camera, and maybe he's trying to get some air on that nose.
Yeah, and it looks like it's working for him right now. He's going to actually get his nose under Kyle Zimmer. I don't know if he'll make a pass. No, he can't. He gets a little bit tight. Here comes Doug McCollum. If these two have something wrong, he'll be right there to capitalize. And to add to what you said earlier, Tanner drove it in deep on Tim Masters in 3 and just really almost hit the wall. Look at how these guys are running this dog leg down here. It is crazy.
Well, it is go time at ISM Raceway. 10 laps to go here, coming through turns number 3 and 4. Doug McCollum got a pretty good run up off the corner. He's going to try and take the fight to Dave Wilson in that number 20 machine.
And Kyle Zimmer is loving what he's seeing in his mirror, because if those two start fighting, he will drive away. And, Tanner Sharp actually gave the 9 a shot off turn number 2. How did he save that? He was all sorts of sideways. And those two are not teammates, even though they do look identical. But that was really kind of a moment there. But either way, we're still green, and those two cars are still running straight. We're still battling for the lead here at the front. Dave Wilson, Kyle Zimmer going at it. Looks like Doug McCollum has fallen off of the lead just a little bit. Maybe saving his stuff because he knows that we have 8 to go, and maybe these two cats in front of him will use their stuff up, but either way, it is go time, so he should be going as well as everybody else, and Kyle Zimmer looks like he's going the best of all of them right now.
And we're going to see what lap times were like this time by. Kyle Zimmer was about almost a tenth faster than Dave Wilson that last lap, but it looks like Zimmer didn't have the best 1 and 2 there, gave up a lot of time to Dave Wilson, so Wilson now right on the back bumper of that number 25. It looked like it was a couple of tenths last time by, but now Wilson right there as they go across the stripe. 6 laps to go, just a tad more than 6 miles around ISM Raceway, and Wilson's going to be looking for every little inch he can find.
Right on the bumper.
And he's going to go right down there to the bottom of the racetrack, going to pull side by side on entry into turn number 3 and 4. And Wilson's going to hold it down a little bit better than he did last time, but man, Zimmer's just going to hold tough on the outside line.
I definitely think the 20 is a bit, ooh, we have a car in the inside wall. That's Doug McCollum, and he keeps it straight, so we're going to keep it green, but that car is damaged quite substantially. It looks like at the front, the 20 is definitely better off too, because he is to the inside of Zimmer, but Zimmer is a little bit better in turns 3 and 4. He's going to drive it hard into 3. Ooh, we might have some contact here. We've seen these two drivers have hard racing all season, and some of these races have ended in tears, but Kyle Zimmer not going to give up that lead very easily. Let's see if he can get the over-under here in turn 1 and 2, but I don't think so. Dave Wilson just is so much better in that corner, so move Dave Wilson to the lead. 4 laps to go.
Yeah, Dave Wilson once again finds himself up front in a SimPossible Series race. That number 20 machine is lightning quick here again tonight at ISM Raceway. Definitely kind of legging it out on the 25 of Zimmer at this present moment in time. There's a new 3rd place. If you didn't quite catch it, Tanner Sharp has moved that number 3 up into 3rd. Travis Zudema has taken the number 90 up into 4th position after the number 33 of Doug McCollum hit the inside and outside walls, hit both. Tim Masters is 5th place in that beaten up number 9 machine. Kevin Cochran now 6th. You're not missing any battles throughout the field. Everyone pretty much single file. Just as I say that, Doug McCollum's going to try and look on capers for 9th. But up at the front, the number 20, Dave Wilson, you see he's going to cut that dogleg every lap to try and not give that number 25 any advantage. There is a slow car in front, Dave Wilson, the number 99 of Berardi, as they're coming to take the white flag this time by. There is Berardi. And we'll see if he comes into the picture here as Dave Wilson drives off into turns number 1 and 2. There's almost contact between the 99 and the 20. Oh, there the 25 gets into the back. Kyle Zimmer got into the back of Berardi, and I think that's all she wrote, as Zimmer is able to keep it going straight, and Wilson's just going to sail off into the sunset here at Phoenix, coming through turns number 3 and 4 onto the front stretch for the final time. Dave Wilson wins at Phoenix. Kyle Zimmer comes home 2nd. A valiant effort by Tanner Sharp to bring that number 3 back onto the lead lap and come home in the 3rd position. I'm sure he is wondering what could have been, but a good recovery after a tough race at Vegas last week. Zudema comes home 4th. Tim Masters rounding out your top 5. So Zudema and Masters, they were in a whole bunch of stuff, but they end up with good finishes. Cameron, Wilson once again shows that he's pretty darn fast.
Yeah, really, it's kind of like a where did he come from situation, but more like, he never went away, just kind of picking the absolute end of the race to show his muscle, and of course, muscle we know he has. He is the winningest driver on the truck side of things, and he is your points leader and winningest driver on the B-car side of things, and he's going to add to that tally today with an absolutely incredible drive. This race, it started off a little bit messy, but it sure got good at the end, and that was an absolute incredible finish and race between those two drivers.
Oh, without a doubt, and this will be Dave Wilson's 14th SimPossible League Series win, and his 2nd of the season here in the cars. And I'm sure he's pretty excited to get such a good start to the season. Did not lead the most laps tonight. That was, of course, Kyle Zimmer that led the most laps, but Wilson was able to come home with the one important lap. As you see Doug McCollum reversing and trying to kill some bugs as he reverses around the track. As we'll see if we can talk to the third place finisher, Tanner Sharp. Peter Short here in the 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Tanner. It looked like you got a black flag there for passing the leader on a restart. Made a valiant charge. Worked your way back onto the lap the hard way by passing the race leader, but it seems like you just ran out of laps there at the end to get that charge up to the front. Tell us a little bit about your race.
Strong car. Tried to stay up the front the whole race, and yeah, just came back and tried to get him.
What happened on that restart from your perspective? I mean, it seemed like you might have waited for the green flag to come out, but not quite sure what happened because it looked like you shot out like a cannon.
Everything's great. We had a good, strong car here at Phoenix, and we'll probably move on from here and face it. It was Auto Club next week, so yeah. Otherwise, fun race overall.
Yeah, Auto Club is next week, and of course, these B cars don't have the A car package. So, what are your thoughts about Auto Club? It's definitely quite a bit different than this track. There's a lot more room to run.
Yeah, wide track, very bumpy. Should be a lot of racing grooves on that racetrack, especially with this new package that iRacing's released since NASCAR came out with their new package. But it's going to be a lot of fun there. I don't remember how many laps are running there, but not that it matters. It's going to be a fun race, really bumpy. Tires going to be a big thing there. Looking forward to Auto Club.
All right. Well, before we let you go, Tanner, you got any shout-outs for us?
Yeah, thanks to you guys for broadcasting the race here tonight for SimPossible Racing League, one of the best, sim racing leagues out there for people who have a disability. If you do and you're interested in sim racing, come join us, man. It's a lot of fun every single week. And shout out to Jeff for putting on the show here tonight for SimPossible. He's one of the administrators, or AKA the president. Nationwide, Mountain Dew, Shriners Hospital for Children, board here to us for this tonight. So hopefully we can pick up a couple more sponsors. We'll see as time goes on. But overall, thank you everybody for watching the stream. If you're on my Facebook Live, thanks for watching, and thanks for everybody for joining tonight's race. Hopefully it was a hell of a show for everybody out there, despite the caution flags.
Absolutely. Well, it was a lot of fun from up here in the booth, Tanner. But we'll be seeing you next week at Auto Club, and until then, best of luck, bud.
Yep, thank you guys.
All right, well, that was your third place finisher, Tanner Sharp, and I think Cameron, we heard a little bit of dejection because I think he knew he had one of the fastest rides out there.
Yeah, absolutely. You could hear the disappointment in his voice, and I think another disappointed driver tonight is going to be the 25 of Kyle Zimmer. I've caught up with him, and before I ask you the obvious questions, Kyle, you were very quick tonight. Went out there and put an absolute barn buster of a lap on to sit on the pole, but just came up a little bit short. So are you kind of thinking what could have been?
Yeah, this was a tough one to swallow, to lose the race like this, and but I mean, we had a fast car all night long. And we had a hiccup at the first couple cautions, and but we were able to get through to get back up to top three. And as the race went, the car was very fast, and we had one long green, and that was fun. And but then at the end, I'm not sure what happened. I think I got a tight off the corners and turn forward, and I think that's where it kind of hurt me to the positioning and the race lead change for the win today at the end. I wish I had another chance at the last lap, but yeah, I hit the 99 and from there. But second place today. Yeah, still a good run though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's a great run, and you started on the pole, so really you had an absolute fast car tonight, but we did see a lot of issues with the track tonight, or more so with drivers having problems with their track. So how did it feel from your perspective? Did the track change, and did it get more easy to drive, or did it become tougher to drive, or what happened?
The track, I would say it definitely got more grumpy as the second half of the race, but seems like at the tire, I mean, it's all about tire management and not overdriving, you know, in the corners. It's got to be consistent going into the corner and out. You have good laps, you know, and I think in the long run, I think that's where I might have got some issues behind me. Might have overheated tires, but I'm not sure. But the towards the end, I felt a little tight in my end. So that's what probably would kind of got me thrown off for the last 10 laps of the race, I would say. And it was still a fast car, I mean. Still a good run for the night.
Absolutely, and we do stay out west for next week's race, going to the Auto Club Speedway, a bit of a faster racetrack. How do you feel about that race?
Yeah, Patana, I'm actually excited about it. It's definitely gonna be a lot of bumps on the track. The tire wear will definitely be play road, especially you know, some strategy could come into play. And multiple lanes through the corner, so I'm really excited about going to Fontana. Hopefully, I can get a win after starting out the season 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd tonight. So hopefully next week it will be a sign, maybe a win. Hopefully.
Absolutely, yeah, that would be a good numbers game right there. But you know, as always, thank you for talking to us. We know you're disappointed with your second place run a little bit, but you put on a good show. But before we let you go, we know you got some shout-outs for us.
Yeah, definitely like to shout out to you guys for broadcasting weekend and out. Definitely like to thank Rebel Racing and Levi for supporting me. I also want to thank Jeff for the name. And I want to thank everyone who participated week in and out. It's been a fun race today, and looking forward to next week. Yeah, fun, bumpy up track at Auto Club.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for talking with us again, and we hope to talk to you again next week. And I do believe we have the winner. Peter Short has caught up with him.
Hey Dave, some Peter Short here in the 3-Wide TV booth. Man, that was an absolute spectacular run there you had there at the end, and it seemed like you were just closing just a little bit ever so closely to the back bumper of that number 25 of Kyle Zimmer. You're finally able to sneak your nose underneath them, get the run, get by. Talk us through those last 20 laps.
Yeah, it was definitely a battle there near the end, and Kyle was definitely fast the entire race, and it's unfortunate that he got messed up there at the end, but he was definitely really fast, and it was hard to get around him for a long time, and I was, like you said, I was just lucky to get a little gap open on the bottom, and I took advantage of it, and was able to get around him eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you kind of had an up-down night. You kind of had, you were a little bit further back in the pack for a while. Then you worked your way up. You had damage for a good portion of the race. It seemed like at one point you might have been conserving your fast repair. Talk us through a little bit about the strategy tonight and how you were able to get your car to the finish.
Yeah, it was a lot about conserving the tires. I did get on the wall there a couple times, but I believe almost everybody here did. It was definitely a really tight track tonight, really hard to race, and I can't really say much for these guys except that they're all racing awesome every night, and it's always a great time to see how well they do on these tracks. They're definitely not easy every week, and it's always a great challenge for everyone. I know this race, especially during the long run there where I didn't pit, the tires definitely didn't feel the best, but I didn't feel too slow on them either. I believe I was paying attention to the ticker there and just making sure how far away Kyle and Doug were pulling away from me, and it was only roughly about a tenth or two of a second per lap, so I was lucky enough to have the pace and on the old tires, stay into it and just try to hold the high line as best as I could, just try to save the tires and pray that a caution came out to get that damage repaired and hopefully battle out for the finish.
Well, that is indeed what happened, and Dave definitely showing us how to pass here at ISM Raceway for the win, so that was definitely awesome to see, getting your second win of the season here in the B-Car Series. But next week, we go to the Auto Club Speedway. We stay with the West Coast Swing. Auto Club, very, very different than Phoenix, a 2-mile D-shaped oval. High speeds, really bumpy. What are your thoughts about Auto Club?
Personally, I haven't really had much experience on the track. I do know that I'm not a big fan of D-shaped tracks such as Michigan and Auto Club. It's just I'm not a big fan of the momentum type tracks, as it's just not my racing style. But they're definitely it's gonna be a struggle next week. I'm gonna just hope that during the practice session there that we do is I'll figure out the track. Hopefully, be able to pull out some pretty good times.
All right, well, Dave, hopefully you can find that again in practice for next week at Auto Club. But before we let you go, you got some shout-outs for us?
Yeah, first I'd like to shout out the PC Rats for supporting me this race and just pushing me to do my best. I'd also like to thank you guys up here in the booth for broadcasting this and commentating it every week. We all love going back and watching these races over and over. Especially with all the awesome battling that we don't get to see throughout the race. We hear about it, but don't really get to see it all the time. So it's definitely cool to go watch everybody else's perspective of the race. I'd also like to thank league owner Jeff Schmidt for making this possible every week. He definitely does an awesome job making these races possible, and without him, I don't think this would have ever happened. So I can't thank him enough as well. I'd also like to congratulate all the drivers every week. They always put on a great show for everybody, and it's always a great race every time racing against them. They're definitely getting faster and faster every week. I've noticed that since the start of SimPossible, and it's awesome to see that. And I'm always looking forward to the next week.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait for next week as well, because it will be high speed and intense at Auto Club Speedway here on 3Wide TV. Well, we thank you for joining us, Dave, and we wish you best of luck next week.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Cameron Rich is caught up with league organizer Jeff Schmidt, and I'm sure Jeff will have been entertained with that finish.
Yeah, Jeff, you got a copy?
I got you, Cameron. How you doing, buddy?
All right. I'm doing great. That was a pretty good race. I'm going to go and ask you what Peter just asked first. Were you entertained by the finish?
Yeah, it was definitely crazy. What a race, man. I told these guys, don't worry about the cautions, have fun. And that's what's most important in this league, is that everyone has a good time. And so far, we're doing a great job facilitating that. So it definitely was a weird race. A lot of fun. It looked like a lot of fun. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, Phoenix, we were talking before the race, it usually puts on a pretty good show. A bit messy at first, but that's kind of what you're going to expect. That's what you see in the real world too, so nothing against these drivers. They were really putting it all in line all race, and you can tell, but definitely came out with a great finish. Of course, Wilson and Zimmer putting on good shows week in, week out. Seems like those two drivers cannot get away from each other, so that might be a little bit of a friendly rivalry heating up.
Absolutely. Kyle got the raw end of the stick there on the last few laps, getting into a lap car, it looked like. He definitely had a fast car. He was pretty dominant during the race, so it was cool to see those guys battling and how clean they were able to race each other around a really tricky track. Phoenix does put on some amazing racing. And there's a point of it to where you can say the drivers are actually that good that they're racing that hard instead of bad to have the incidents. Like, no, they're actually getting better and they're racing each other harder. So it's a cool thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And next week we do go to the Auto Club Speedway, as we have talked to the drivers and got their opinions on it. And on the truck side of things, SimPossible Racing League goes out east for the Talladega Super Speedway for a new round of the chase. So what are your thoughts on those two events?
Yeah, Talladega is going to be nuts in the trucks. I mean, it's a chase race at Talladega, so I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. We could have a first-time winner there. We could have one of the 6 drivers in the chase win there and birth themselves into the top 4 immediately. So it's going to be one of those things to where you're either going to try to win that thing or you're going to try to do it as clean as possible and points race it. But either way, you never know what's going to happen. You can get caught up in something that's not of any fault of your own, and it could definitely hurt you for the chase. But it's going to be interesting, no doubt about it. Auto Club is a fun track. I'm looking forward to it. I think that we're going to see some green flag runs there. It's usually pretty grippy and more about momentum. So that guy that figures it out and figures out the correct line to run lap after lap and keeping that momentum up, that's definitely going to play dividends for that driver.
Yeah, absolutely. And personally, both of those two tracks, I love watching races on. Auto Club's a very slick, bumpy racetrack, and it's always fun to see what the drivers can do there. And Talladega is just nuts, so you never know what you're going to get. So always a reason to tune into 3Wide TV for those two events. But you know, now in 1080p, yeah, Carlos just said it himself. 3Wide TV now in 1080p, so that's really awesome. But we do appreciate you talking with us, Jeff. Always a good opportunity to get to talk to you. But before we let you go, we know you got some shout-outs for us.
Absolutely. And as far as our appreciation from the league, from the drivers, from every little thing that we do, our appreciation for 3Wide TV is there, and we have very strong feelings about what you guys have done for us and how you continue to help us out. You've been there from the start, so it's been an amazing partnership, and I'm blessed to have you guys out here calling the races. So thank you very much. Daryl Kachira with MS Forward, our truck series sponsor, has been a great help. Go to msforward.org, check them out. The drivers, their friends, family, just amazing people. We laugh more than cry, that's for sure. if anyone heard us in the chat, we're just laughing a storm up these whole races. We're having a good time. That cone got killed out there, and we were talking to Alan, and you know, he owes us about a pallet of cones tonight, so we'll figure that one out. But yeah, there's a reason there's no camera on that cone, and for good reasons. But no, we're having a blast, and we love everyone. And these guys are so awesome, man. It really is a great time. Week in and week out, just super blessed to be able to do it. For our B-Car series here, we are looking for a sponsor. If anyone's interested in that, get a hold of me at simpossible.racing@gmail.com. If you are a disabled driver or know a disabled driver within the iRacing service and want to race with us, go fill out a driver sign-up form on simpossibleracing.com, and we'll have you out here racing with us in no time. But appreciate everything, guys. It's been a blessing, and it's been a blast. It's been so much fun. We're happy to do what we do, man.
Awesome words, as always, from Jeff Schmidt, the owner, operator, big guy, the man himself of SimPossible Racing League. And before we get to the results, I just want to say that we did have a camera on Alan for about 10 minutes, and the cone count was in the 20s or so while we were watching. So
oh, so that pallet might not be enough. We're gonna have to.
Yeah. we were gonna keep it on the down low, but you brought it up yourself. So Alan, if you're listening, you got some cones to deliver. But anyway, we do have some results for tonight. We have them queued up from Carlos. David Wilson, your winner, making that last few laps move on Kyle Zimmer. Tanner Sharp rallying back to finish third. Travis Zudema with a good run, finishing fourth. Tim Masters with that car beat up and seemingly involved in every wreck tonight. He finishes 5th, a great run for that car. Kevin Cochran, likewise, also a good run for him. Nate Catilla, another driver that was beat to hell and was involved in almost everything, finishing 7th, so another good run for him. Brian Lowhead up there all night, the non-qualifier himself. Always good to see him come to the pack. Chris Burge had some troubles late, but had a good run going before that, finishing 9th. And Doug McCollum was in the top 3 for most of the night, but had some bad luck late, Peter.
In the 11th position was the number 13 of Alan Capers, Mr. Cone Killer himself, finishing in 12th position. Tom Johnson in the 56th. Billy Wise finishing in unlucky number 13 tonight. Fernando Matos finished 14th. Mark Dingman, Johnny Berardi, and Dominic Lee, all 3 of those at the back. They did not complete all the laps here tonight. Berardi did finish the race, however, but did finish 45 laps down. And Dominic Lee, Dominic Lee has said in that number 2 car that he is gunning for a win next week at Auto Club. So we'll keep an eye on that. But man, I don't know numbers. Johnny Berardi finished 47 laps down. So, man, Cameron, that was a fantastic finish there at the end, and the sun setting here over Monument Hill. What a beautiful race that was from ISM Raceway, and we'll be back at it next week at Auto Club Speedway here on 3Wide TV for the SimPossible B-Car Series. It'll be round 5 of the year, and I'm sure all the drivers will be looking to get their win tally going next week. And before we sign off, just want to give a shout out to SimTV for their awesome camera work, and Carlos Acosta for his great cameras, and Cameron Rich helping me in the booth each and every week. So we all have a fun time up here. Yeah, we all have a fun time up here. But until next week, we bid you all good evening and great night, great day, whatever the case may be, wherever you are around this globe here from 3Wide TV. We'll see you next week.